G'day guys, welcome back to this week's 5-minute yarn. This week I want to do a bit of a different one. I want to talk to you guys about what my ultimates would be. Now this is going to be spread over a couple of weeks. This particular one is what would make my ultimate touring rig. Money was no option, or I had sponsors buying everything, or whatever it might be. What would make my ultimate touring rig to travel the country? Well look, as much as I love my Pajero, I don't think that would quite make it. If I could do a full rebuild on it, and I mean every nut and bolt built from the ground up, then yeah, I'd love it, and I'd take a few spares with me, which is probably a good idea anyway if you could travel in the country. But for reliability side of things, and for ease of parts and things like that, I'd probably be looking, for me, I do much prefer a wagon, so I'd probably be looking somewhere along the lines of a 200 series Land Cruiser or a Y62 Patrol, even a GU Patrol, and maybe a sort of slightly later series Land Cruiser. They are well known for being more robust. Even though Pajero has won Dakar 12 times more than any other manufacturer, the Land Cruisers and Patrols are more known to be more robust out in the remote parts of Australia. So I feel I'd probably end up running one of them if I was going to do an ultimate tourer. Now obviously I'd go through and I'd be putting bull bar on there and winch and suspension lift and probably slightly bigger tyres, all that sort of shit with them. I wouldn't be going over the top and putting 4-inch lift and 37-inch tyres on them, but you know, 33s or something and a 2-inch lift, something modest. So yeah, I'd do that. I like the thoughts of a Y62 or a 200 because I feel for me, to do long trips like that, comfort would play a big part, and that's one of the reasons I love the Pajero. Being independent suspension all around, the Pajero is really comfortable to drive. Whereas a live axle vehicle is a bit more industrial, a bit more agricultural, a bit rougher to drive, generally. So, look, I'm not saying I wouldn't grab a live axle vehicle. I'm not a fan of utes. Personally, they've got their purpose and their place, but for me, it's not the line I'd go. But yeah, I really reckon I'd probably go a Y62, a GU, a 200 series, or a slightly older model. I don't know my Land Cruiser models, so I really can't say sort of what, but sort of somewhere between the 2000 mark and 2020 mark. Something like that if I was going a slightly older model. And then again, I'd do everything I can to make sure it's going to be perfectly reliable. But I feel these sorts of vehicles, as a tourer, they would be a lot more reliable. And easier to find parts than what Pajero would be in the middle of nowhere. So that's my concept and my thoughts as to what would make an ultimate tourer for me. Might be a bit different to what you think, knowing how much I love the Paj, but yeah, I think the only way I'd really want to take, especially an older model Paj like mine, cross country, if it was rebuilt from the ground up, reconditioned motor, reconditioned gearbox, transfer cases, all that sort of stuff, brand new CVs and etc, etc, and then take a few parts with me. That's probably the only way I'd want to actually take the Paj across country on the real big trips. So, alright guys, that will do for me for this 5-minute yarn. So take care, peace, and as always, I'll see you on the tracks.